Hello everybody, welcome to episode number 35 of Driftless Knitting. My name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter, and you can find the podcast on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the Groups tab. I am finally back from a 3.5 week hiatus, I think. I can't remember when the last time I put a podcast up. It was the end of June. And I was about to leave on my vacation, which I went on. It was really fun. It was really hot down in southern Utah, very hot, but it was fun to be with family and see some new things I've never seen before and spend some time outside. We hit a couple of national parks, which was really cool, and got to go to my cousin's wedding, which was out in Salt Lake City. So it was a great vacation. And I'm glad to be back. I've been back for about 2 weeks now. I think exactly 2 weeks today. But it just never... Last week on my days off, it was my birthday on last Monday, and I just didn't have time to podcast Monday or Tuesday. And then, during the work week, I thought about it, and I thought, you know what, I'm just not going to rush it. I'm going to wait until I have a nice relaxing day and can sit and chat with you all, and I'm excited to be back with you. So I have a lot of things to show you today. I have some projects that I've finished, I have projects that I've started. So why don't we just jump right into the knitting today. I will admit that it feels a little strange to be back. I didn't write any show notes for today, which was probably a mistake. I'm going to see how this goes, just kind of, off the cuff. But I didn't want to think about it too much because I feel like if I overthink it and get really worried about being nervous and feeling odd talking to my computer, then I'm just going to put it off for another week, and I really wanted to get a podcast filmed. The other thing that I think is getting to me is I really want to post a video of all these clips that I took while we were on vacation, but there is so many of them, it's kind of daunting to think about the editing process of that video, so I'm really hoping that that will come out around the same time, this week, around the same time as this podcast, but no promises. I'm trying to talk myself into starting that and getting that all put together. I took a lot of video when we were driving, when we were with family at the national parks, hiking, just all these things. And it's going to be super cool to put it in one big video, but it's really intimidating. So I'm just going to have to set aside a whole day for that. Okay, so I'm going to show you, I was going to show you this one. I don't think I will yet. Why don't I show you the project? I don't know. Does it really matter? No, not really. Okay, so I'll finish that. I'll show you this. This is familiar to you guys, or at least it should be if you've watched before. If you haven't watched before, welcome, and I hope you like the video. I forgot to say that at the beginning. And if you have watched my podcast before, thank you so much for coming back. So this is a project that I've been working on pretty much all summer. And that's because it's following the season of the Milwaukee Brewers baseball team. And what I'm doing is I am knitting a cowl. Look how long that is. Oh my gosh. So I'm knitting this cowl. It will be a cowl. It's a tube right now. And I am knitting 3 rows for each game played, and I'm knitting it out of 4 colors. So there are 2 colors for home games. The blue are wins at home, and the gray are losses. And then there are 2 colors for away games, and the yellow are wins away, and the white is losses away. So it's just this really randomly striped piece that I am absolutely in love with. I love it so much. And I'm almost caught up, which is amazing. When I got home from vacation, I was 3 weeks behind, something like that. And this whole week at work, this is the project that I've been taking out if I have time, because it's just stockinette in the round. It's so easy to pick up and put down, and you know, I'm switching colors every so often, but that doesn't really take any sort of thought process. The other thing I'm really proud about is I have been trying my hardest to weave in all the ends as I go. So yeah, this is kind of awkward to show you, but look, I have woven in all of those ends. The only ones I haven't are, let's see, these right here. So there's one down there, and those, yeah. But I sat one day, I think I was at work, and instead of knitting that day, if I had, you know, a free moment here or there, I would weave in an end. So I end up winding a lot of yarn on our Swift that we have at the shop. We have an electric Swift, so we can do other things at the same time, and it really comes in handy when we're super, super busy and there's only, you know, we always have 2 people at the shop at a time, but you can't really, if you have just a crank winder, you can't really multitask. You have to be on that Swift cranking it the whole time, and if, you know, someone needs help, you know, picking out yarn over there, and someone else needs to be rung up, or the phone rings and you're winding yarn, you can't do it. So a lot of shops, because of that, really don't offer that service to wind yarn, or, you know, it has to be a really slow part of the day or something like that. We are lucky enough to be able to wind yarn for people most of the time, unless it's like super crazy and we've gotten, you know, someone buying 20 skeins for an Afghan or something, then we, you know, we'll wind half of them. You can come back later and we'll wind the other half then. So when I would be winding yarn at the Swift, if I have nothing else to do, I will either pick up my knitting and do a few stitches in between while it's going, or I will weave in ends, which is what I did a couple days ago. So I got almost all the ends woven in. I'm almost completely caught up with games. I just have to do yesterday's game and the day before, and then today's game. They haven't played yet, so yeah, I am so proud of myself, and I'm so happy with how this is turning out. This is about half of the season right here. So it will be almost double this, not quite doubled. I think like right here where the blue starts, that was half the season. So yeah. And I will bring it together and sew the ends together. I'll probably sew the ends closed, like these ends, and then sew them together, just because I don't mind having a crease there. It doesn't have to be completely seamless. That way I can wear it around my neck and double it up. I had the thought that if it is long enough, I could just seam the ends and put like tassels or fringe on it. Tassels. That's not the correct term. I could put fringe on it and have it be a scarf. But I think I would wear a cowl more. I'd like the idea of doubling it up around my neck and just having it kind of sitting there. With scarves, you have to worry about ends. You can only really wrap it around, you know, once, maybe twice, and then the ends kind of hang down, and I don't know. So I'm pretty sure I'm still going to make it into a cowl. So yeah, I'm really glad to be able to show you guys all that progress. I haven't showed it off in a couple of weeks just because I would do, you know, a game here, a game there. I did get quite far behind. You know, like I said, it was about a month behind by the time I got back from vacation, and I just wanted to get caught up. I don't want to get too far behind. As I've said in the past, if I do get too far behind, I'm afraid that I will just, I will never go back to it. The excitement will be over, the baseball season will be over, and I won't feel the need to finish it. So I'm just really happy that I'm sticking with it. So yeah, I can't wait to show you the next bit of progress. Again, I might not show this off for a little while because it's just going to be like another inch or so, 2 inches by next week, so it's not really too exciting, but when you get to see, you know, how long it's gotten since the last time I showed it off on the podcast, then that's pretty cool. Also, sorry about if you can hear any fan noise. Sorry about that. I have a window fan going right now to the left of me, and another fan in the bedroom. I don't have the air conditioner on right now because it's super loud, but it is... Oh, it went down! So it was like 102 degrees just a little bit ago, and it went down. It's 95 right now. It's 81 degrees in here, which seems really warm, but it actually feels good compared to outside. I went running this morning, and it was like already 88 degrees. It was about a little before 10 o'clock. And, oh no, it was a little after 10 o'clock by the time I left. But, yeah, it was hot. My face was so red. When I got home, I was literally dripping sweat. I know that's really gross. I've never, sorry guys, this is like, I'm getting real here. I've never sweat that hard. I probably have, but I don't remember it. I mean, it was like, I could like hold up my arm and it would like be dripping off of me. And I think it was just the combination of the humidity, the sun, the heat, you know, the heat index and everything. And a lot of the time I was running, I tried to get in the shade as much as possible, but it was kind of sunny most of the time, so. And I saw, oh my gosh, I saw a rattlesnake. If you guys watch my Instagram stories, you'll have heard the whole story, but I'll repeat it here, just in case. So, Minnesota, in this area of Minnesota, the Driftless area, we have bluffs, and they're quite substantial. I mean, they're large, rocky, hilly, tree-covered bluffs that go on either side of the river. And I've always known that the rattlesnakes that we have here, they live up in the bluffs, but when it gets super hot, they come down, and they're looking for water down here. They also like to come down out into the open and sun themselves, because up, you know, when you're really high up in the trees, obviously you're not getting much sun, so they come down, they sun themselves on the roads, on rocks, on any sort of pavement, and they're looking for water because, you know, they don't get much up there. So I've always known this, and there have been reports, and, you know, at some of the golf courses in the area, I'm a golfer, in case people don't know that. In some of the golf courses in the area, they have warnings. Their employees will go out and kind of like scan the perimeters, because a lot of the courses are like at the base of the bluffs. And so they'll, you know, kind of while they're working, they'll scan the perimeters and report on any rattlesnakes that they see. And you're just not allowed to, obviously there's a chance that the snakes will come onto the golf course, but you're not really supposed to go into the trees, like on the edges of the golf course, because that's where they're going to be. So, you know, I always knew this, and I'm always, you know, cautious if I'm doing anything like that. I've never actually seen one, though. And so today while I was running on the side of a road, like going out of town, because it's much more scenic, I think, than running through the, you know, townhouses and the neighborhoods, although this is a very pretty town. Wow, I'm really long-winded. Anyway, so I was running, and I saw the snake out of the corner of my eye, and it didn't really register what it was at first, and then when it did, I skidded to a halt. Like, there was probably smoke coming off of my sneakers. Skidded to a halt, and like flew backwards to the other side of the road. Like, it probably would have been pretty comical to watch. But so as I'm on the side of the road, like just staring at the snake, like across the way, a safe enough distance, I realized that it's not moving. It's kind of crushed in an area, so I'm pretty sure it got hit by a car. But still, to see it curled up there and to think about what could have happened if I hadn't seen it and if it had been alive, it's kind of scary. So the whole rest of the run, I kept an eye out on the sides of the road and the middle of the road, because I'm like, everything, like even a stick, I'm like, is that a snake? And usually I'm not really that jumpy, but after seeing it sitting there, no, wasn't going to take any risks. Okay, back to knitting. Alright, so I will show you this next project. I haven't worked on it too much since vacation, but I'm still really excited about it. I just haven't knit on it because there's a couple other things that are taking priority. I have some gifts that I'm knitting, and I finished, oh, I don't have it with me, stink. I have another finished object that I didn't bring back from the shop where it's blocking. Anyway, I'll show that to you next time. So this was my second vacation knit, and if you follow me, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen it, but it is the Woven Shawl by Casapinka. And I'll just show you, there's the end. So this is a linen stitch shawl, and you start it down here with a few stitches, and you increase on one side, decrease on the other, and you keeps growing. I am probably a little less than halfway done. I'm just going to use up all of my yarn that I have, which is a little bit more than what the pattern calls for, but you know, it doesn't make any difference. It's just linen stitch. And the yarn that I'm using for this is a beautiful hand-dyed sock blank from Lisa of Three Sisters Fiber Company here in Winona. So I have had this for probably about a year in my stash, and I kind of knew that I didn't want to make socks out of it just because it is, it doesn't have like a mirror to it, so the socks wouldn't match, which is fine, but I just thought it'd be more fun as a complete project to see the whole color change as it goes. So I'm getting into the blue area, the blue and gray right now. I'm so excited to get to the yellow. But the first part of it was like a tan and gray with a little bit of like green tones to it. And the interesting thing about sock blanks is that, of course, the knitting does not turn out the way the sock blank looks. You know what I mean? So there's all these like white flecks from where the dye didn't totally saturate the yarn in the blank. And that's just giving it this cool marled look, and I love it so much. I love this blue area that's coming out. It's so cool. Anyway, so I did a couple of rows on this yesterday when I was visiting my friend Carolyn from the Chain 344 podcast. Kate was there too. Kate's the other co-host, and Kate was over at Carolyn's. Lisa and I went and visited them. And exciting news for any of you in the area or those who are going to visit, Kate and Carolyn are actually opening up a yarn shop in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So La Crosse is just over the river from me, and they have a beautiful downtown. Walking around downtown La Crosse is just one of the best things. We've done it a couple times, quite a few times this summer, when we've both had the night off. Seaver and I have both had the night off. And they have a beautiful river walk. They have some amazing restaurants down there. They're just, the energy there is getting so, it's just palpable. You can feel it. La Crosse has one yarn shop already. It's very small. It's been open for a very long time. And I'm really excited that a new yarn shop is going in. even though it's going to be a little bit of friendly competition for Yarnology, but that's, that's a good thing. We have to stay on top of things. We can collaborate together. We can, we're hopefully, fingers crossed, going to do more of a localized yarn shop hop with a few Wisconsin yarn shops and, our yarn shop, which is practically in Wisconsin. So I really do think that this is a really good thing. So I'm really excited for them, and I'll let you know how that goes. They're going to open August 1st, I believe. I'm not sure if I already said that. And yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. Probably the first day that they're open because I have the day off, so why not? But yeah, so I'm excited for them. We got to chat yesterday and talk about it, and yeah, I'll keep you posted. But Carolyn also gave me, while I was there, she gave me this progress keeper. I had said, she posted these on her Instagram, I think. It's a little like beer stein. I don't know how well you can see it, and it opens up. Look at that. Oh, now it's not going to for me. Oh, there we go. Isn't that cute? Can you see that? Yeah. I love it. So she had posted these on Instagram, and I was saying how my German heritage, my very strong German heritage, was telling me that I had to have one of these. So she gave it to me. I'm like, I don't have any cash with me. And she's like, take it. So thank you, Carolyn. Yeah, so this is really fun. I'm enjoying the seed stitch. It's super mindless. I am already planning on another one that I'm going to knit. So yeah, the woven, definitely a new favorite. So I'll keep you posted on that one. Hopefully after the next project I'll show you, once that's finished, I'll be able to work on this a lot more. Oh my gosh, I just love those colors. Lisa is a genius. Okay. I'm going to take a little sip of, I'm drinking raspberry lemonade because it's cool and refreshing. It's not pink lemonade, it's real raspberry lemonade. I didn't make it, but it claims it's real. And it is really refreshing. Okay. Whew. We can do this. Okay, so my third and pretty much final work in progress is a birthday present for my little nephew Ronan. Baby Ronan. He is turning 1 next Saturday. This Saturday, oh my gosh, the 22nd. He's going to be 1 year old, and I am going to see him on the 22nd. That's the day that I find out whether I won the Wisconsin State Historical Society contest, the Laura Ingalls Wilder art contest. I knit like a cape, a hooded cape with trees on it, inspired by Little House in the Big Woods, because I don't know if that's my favorite one of her books, but it's up there. And it's the one that takes place in Wisconsin, so yes, so I find out whether or not I won or how that all turned out this Saturday at Old World, Wisconsin in Eagle, and we are going with Jill and Nate and Ronan, and then I think my mom and my stepdad are going to come up and meet us there. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really fun day. But I'm not going to be giving him his birthday present until the week after. We are having his first birthday party at my mom's house on the 29th. So I'm pretty sure I'll have this done. I was a little worried, but then the last couple of days I have been like knitting. Really only yesterday and today I've been knitting a lot on it, so I'm pretty confident. But I'm knitting him a little cabled sweater. This is the back of it and then the two sides. And I really wanted to knit him a cabled sweater because my sister is like obsessed with Ireland and Irish history, and his name is Irish. It means little seal, and he's going to grow up believing that he's like 100% Irish when really he has about like that much in him. But they love the culture. They've been there twice. They're already planning their third trip there, and why not encourage it? Ireland's awesome. So anyway, this is a cardigan, obviously, so it's not a jumper, but it is beautifully cabled. I made a mistake. Okay, so I did the first repeat, and when I got done with this one right here, I was thinking to myself, I really don't like how the end of that cable is turning out. I don't like how the two ends are pulling away from each other and there's this big gap. I'm like, that doesn't look good. So I keep knitting, and I get to this part, and I'm reading the chart, and I'm like, oh, you overlap them. Did I do that down here? No, I didn't. So yeah, I was supposed to knit this. I missed the last row of the cable and went straight on like to the first part of the repeat. So yeah, I was supposed to twist them right there, like here and here and here and here and here, but I didn't. So there's a little bit of a goof at the bottom. But really, when I'm just looking at it and not focusing in on that, my eye doesn't really pick up on it. So I'm thinking that Jill and Ronan definitely won't care. He won't even notice. So I was already like up to here, I think, when I realized that, you know, the last couple repeats I was twisting this cable over itself and not like splitting it like I did down here. And I did not want to take back, you know, a repeat and a half. So it's staying like that. But I don't think it looks terrible. Whatever. And if it does, don't tell me. So this is the back. I have another inch and a half of the body to do, and then I start decreasing for the, it kind of goes in here, and you pick up and knit this big shawl collar, and then the sleeves are cabled. And this, oh my gosh, I didn't even tell you the pattern name. This is the Gramps cardigan by, oh, I don't have the pattern. I'll put it at the bottom. Not to be confused with the Gramps cardigan by Tin Can Knits that I knit last winter for him for Christmas, which I also love. That is one of my favorite sweaters to make. But this is by someone else. And I've seen this sweater many times and thought it was just adorable. And then when I was thinking about his birthday present and the yarn I wanted to use, the type of style I wanted to knit, it was just perfect, absolutely perfect. So I'm knitting it out of Madeline Tosh DK, and this was in my stash for a little while, and I bought this with a sweater for Ronan in mind. I don't even think he was born yet. We knew that it was a boy, and we knew, you know, when he was coming and everything, but and this is the Thyme colorway. Thyme like the herb. Yes. So I love this color. It's so pretty. I hope it's coming out. There we go. It's kind of picking up some sunlight now, but it's just the softest green. He's going to look so handsome in it. So I'm excited. I have 2 more full skeins of it, and I think that will be absolutely plenty of yarn. So yeah, I've been knitting on that quite a bit the last couple of days, and I'm hoping to have it done so that I can block it by early next week, and I'll give it to him next Saturday. So that's exciting. So I have a finished object. I really do have 2 finished objects, but one of them is at Yarnology blocking, and obviously I can't show it to you. So my other finished object was a bit of a languishing whip. I did show it to you a couple of weeks ago because I had started working on it again. The first of these socks I knit and finished last August, and I had started the second one, the toe, but I'd really only gotten like, yeah, a few increases in, and hadn't even started the pattern yet. So, and I can't tell which one was, yeah, I can't tell which one is which one I, did first and which one I did second, which is a good thing. So I decided to take these in the car on our vacation because my mom, my stepdad, and I did drive out to Utah. It took 2 full days to do it, but we got there. It was good, and I did a ton of knitting. I was so happy. I didn't get car sick. I didn't get bored. The first day, when we were in the car, I powered through. I did so I was probably about here, like mid-foot. I powered through and did the heel turn and started the pattern of the leg, the first day in the car. And that was just picking it up for 15 minutes, putting it down, picking it up again for 20 minutes, putting it down. We would stop a lot. We were, talking and all that stuff. So I wasn't knitting for 12 hours straight or something. But I was pretty proud of myself. I did, that whole piece in one sitting in the car. And then the next day I got quite a bit of the leg done as well. I ended up finishing these when we were on our way home from the Grand Canyon. We ended up driving to the north rim of the Grand Canyon in Arizona. So we crossed from southern Utah into Arizona and went to the north rim, which was absolutely beautiful. It's less crowded than the south rim. The south rim is the one where all the tourists usually go, and, well, we were tourists, I guess, too, and it's the one that is hotter. It has the most famous views when you see people standing with a railing behind them and they're taking, a picture, a selfie. Now, most people take selfies of the Grand Canyon. Those views, that's all down the south rim. And the north rim is much more wooded. It's a little bit higher in elevation, so it's cooler. We had a beautiful breeze. It was sunny, but it was only about 75, 70 when we got there. I was wearing a zip-up sweatshirt for a little while we were, the first part of one of our hikes, I was still wearing a zip-up sweatshirt. But the sun does, make it quite warm, and even though it's a dry heat, there isn't much humidity. When you're hiking and it's 80, 85 degrees, you're gonna get warm. So we did do some hiking there, and it was a lot of fun. We had a picnic then, on the side of the Grand Canyon pretty much, which was amazing. But I ended up finishing these in the car on the way back to the house that we were staying at after the Grand Canyon. So I will always remember that. That's what I think is so cool about knitting on trips or buying yarn on trips, is that for the rest of however long I have these, I will remember our trip to the Grand Canyon. And it just makes me smile because that was the first vacation with my nephew. It was the first family vacation that we had in years, and we just had a great time together. So yeah, I'm almost getting a little teary-eyed thinking about it. But yeah. And then the woven shawl too, I will have the memories of, our road trip and working on it when we were driving here and there in Utah. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of these. I'm pretty excited that I finally got them done, and yeah, they'll be great to wear in the wintertime. They're a little high on me. They come about mid-calf, which isn't usually how long I like to wear my socks, but for cold days here in Minnesota and in Wisconsin. They'll be really nice. And this yarn is a perfect, I got it so long ago and I threw the ball band away that I can't remember. It's not an Arnie and Carlos, and I can't remember like what design line it is, but it is a perfect sock set from Skacel. No, from Regia. So yeah, yay! Whoops, my ends. New socks. Now I don't have a pair of socks on the go, but I want to finish a couple other projects that I have on the needles before I cast on another pair of socks. So speaking of souvenir knitting and souvenir yarn, I did pick up something on my vacation. We were in Park City, Utah for a day. Oh my gosh, Park City, Utah is busy. We went there thinking we would have this nice relaxing day. It was the last day of our vacation, the last full day we were there. And you know, we thought we'd walk around the beautiful historic downtown. We'd stop in all these like specialty shops and have lunch somewhere really cool because, you know, Park City it's a really cool town. They have a lot of stuff about, you know, the Olympics and everything like that, but then their downtown the true old downtown is like set into the mountains almost, and it's just gorgeous. So we were really excited about that, and then we get there. Not only is it the Sunday before 4th of July, they're also having their farmers market, which closes off like 2 long streets, and the parking was a nightmare. So we drove around for about 25 minutes looking for parking. My stepdad and my mom, their stress levels were going up to here. My stress levels were going up to here because I was the navigator. I had my GPS on my phone, and I was trying to tell them like where to go. So that was just awful. But we eventually drove out of the downtown area. They do have more of a like modern shopping area and restaurant, you know, area. So we ended up going there. We ate lunch. We were so hungry by that point. We just ate lunch wherever we could find it. We ended up having like barbecue sandwiches or something, which was really good, but not what we were picturing when we started the day. And then went to a park and played, you know, Ronan played for a little bit, and we just kind of all just decompressed from this, you know, traffic-y, crazy, you know, hour we had just had. And I was disappointed because I really wanted to go to the yarn shop that at the time I thought was on one of these, you know, streets in the historic downtown. Well, we look up the address again, and it turns out it's actually in like a outdoor shopping mall type place. So that made me really happy. So we were able to go to Wasatch and Wool, which is the yarn shop in downtown Park City, and it was so sweet. It's little, but they definitely use up all the available space. I mean, she had so much yarn and such good yarn. I was so excited to see a lot of the Fiber Company yarn there. She had some local hand-dyed stuff from Montana and from Utah. She had the Imperial Yarn Company, which is of course famous because, well, for a couple different reasons, but they used the yarn from the Imperial Yarn Company to knit the Olympic sweaters a couple years ago. So, you know, that was really cool to see and touch that. She had things like, you know, Malabrigo and Madeline Tosh, I think Madeline Tosh, and Sweet Georgia yarn, things like that. And then a couple others, yarn lines that I hadn't seen before, which was really fun. So the owner was extremely sweet and nice, and very willing to let me take a little bit of video. I did take some video of her yarn shop, and she was so sweet and excited. She was like, tell me the name of your podcast and I'll look it up. And yeah, it was just really cool. She was very supportive. So I did end up buying this beautiful skein of Twisted Owl fiber. And this is, I think that she's down in Texas. I was going to say Arizona, but it's Texas. It's hand-dyed, and the owner of the shop knows the mother and sister of the woman behind Twisted Owl. So they had come in, I guess. She told me the story of how she started stocking this, because I was looking at this, and then I walked around a little bit, and I'm like, oh, I should get something a little more local. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and then I just kept coming back to this. So yeah, this had to come home with me. But she said that the mother and the sister came in and were really excited, to be there, but they kept saying that, oh, my daughter, my sister, she's an indie dyer. And the owner's like, well, okay, there's a lot of indie dyers out there. It could, it's hit or miss, really. And she didn't really, look into it too much until she saw her down at, I think, Stitches West, and was just blown away by her hand-dyed yarns. So she decided she had to get this in the shop. And yeah, and my sister, when I was kind of feeling bad that I wasn't buying something like local to Utah or just local to the more western states, Jill was like, well, this has, a very personal story to it. She, knows the people and has met her, and, not many places have Twisted Owl, so I felt better. And I'm supporting a local yarn shop, so that's always a good thing. But yeah, this is called Midnight at the Oasis. It's a, I think, 80-20. Yep, 80-20 sock blend of merino and nylon, and it's 400 yards. So, yeah, I was very happy with it. And very happy that I got to go to a new yarn shop and meet some new people. And, yeah, if you're in the Park City area, you should go there. We did not get a chance to go to any other yarn shops. There is a couple, I think, in Salt Lake, but we weren't staying in downtown Salt Lake. We were staying in Sandy, Utah, so it was a little bit further out. And on the way, to and from Utah, we were mostly on highways, and we just didn't have time to get off the highway and go into any of the downtowns. So that was the only yarn shop I got to, but it was definitely worth it. So another acquisition that I'm so excited to talk about was a birthday present that I actually just got yesterday from my friend Lisa. And it's a birthday present and a Christmas present, she says, because she saw this on the Instagram page, I think, or the Facebook page of one of our favorite semi-local Midwestern dyers, and that is Bumblebee Acres Farm. And Bumblebee Acres is a farm and a dye studio down in Illinois where I grew up. And I actually went to grade school with one of the daughters. She was a couple years younger than me, but we remembered each other. And so that's a really cool connection. But they are doing some really, really cool things. They do yarn clubs. They do shows. They're all over the Midwest. They do fiber shows. And they just have some really great yarn that's always in their shop. They just came out, though, with pre-orders for advent calendars. And not just advent calendars, yarn advent calendars, I should say. They are fandom advent calendars. So they have a Downton Abbey one. I think they have a third one. But then the one I am super excited about, which Lisa bought me, because she knows me so well, is the Harry Potter one. So this is a collection called Happy Christmas, Harry Potter. And I am beyond excited. I cannot wait to get these and open these up. So if you're unfamiliar with yarn advent calendars, what happens is you get sent a you get sent a package of 25 individually wrapped mini skeins. And they're all labeled, usually. They're all labeled, and you have to go like 1 through 25 starting December 1st all the way to Christmas. And you open your last one Christmas morning, and you can either work with them as you go and add them onto a project, or after it's all done, you can knit something up. So I love that this one is themed, and each mini skein is going to have a different name and a different theme to it, Harry Potter related. They are 40 yards in length, which is a very generous mini skein. I think that's amazing. So at the end of it, you're going to have a total of 1,000 yards, which is incredible. You also, with this package, you also get a project bag to keep them in and a pattern. So it's like a mystery pattern. As you go and open them, you knit each section of this pattern. And they're not yet saying what type of a pattern it is, and you obviously don't have to knit the pattern if you don't want to, but it's just really cool that you have like a coordinating mystery knit along with your advent calendar. So yes, what else? Is there any other cool things? They say that the minis will be in colorways from their themed collection. New colorways will be included, and possibly one-of-a-kind colorways. And it's all on their Coquette sock base, which is a 75-25 Corriedale wool and nylon. I have this blend. This is what their mini skein set that I did my Myriad of Minis cowl in, if you've watched in the past. That was from Bumblebee Acres, and that was that same blend, and it is wonderful. It's a little more woolly than like a merino nylon, but I actually really like that. So I am so excited. That was, yeah, she's like, you're not getting anything for, you know, the next however many holidays. I'm like, that's fine. That'll do me. She's such a good friend. So the very last thing that I have to talk about is the giveaway that I'm hosting. And I talked about this in my last episode. I designed a new shawl pattern called Running Barefoot, and the yarn that I knitted in was hand-dyed by Lisa of Three Sisters Fiber Company for Yarnology. So in the past couple of seasons, we have gotten a special colorway dyed for us, and this one is the summer 2017 colorway, and it is called Who Put Sand in My Yarn? Because how can you not think of the beach when you look at this? It's just awesome. So I really wanted to give away a skein of this along with a pattern, a copy of my pattern, Running Barefoot. And you can do, you know, you can knit that, or you can knit a pair of socks, or you can knit whatever you want with this. No pressure. So I had a thread opened up in the Ravelry group. I think there was 14 or 15 posts, and I just chose one this morning. Let me just look, make sure I have the name right. Yes. So it was post number 6, and that is Angelic Embers on Ravelry, and her name is, let me just click on this here. Her name is Nicole, and she's from Flemington, New Jersey. So congratulations, Nicole. You will win, or you will get this skein of yarn and a copy of my pattern. And she said that, let's see, what was the question? I said, this shawl is a great travel project, so enter the giveaway for the pattern and the yarn. Comment below and tell me if you have any fun plans, knitting or otherwise, for the summer. And we had some great answers. She said that she plans on knitting in Key West, Florida in July. She's beyond excited. I'm also knitting several sweaters over the summer for when my kids return to school. So, yay! So congratulations again, Nicole. And I will personal message you on Ravelry and get this sent out to you. So thank you to everyone who entered, and I love doing giveaways. I think they're so much fun. I think it just gets people to go into the Ravelry group and participate a little more, and it gives you a chance to win something special that you probably wouldn't be able to get otherwise. So yeah. Alright, I think that's just about it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. I do feel like there was so much that happened in the last three and a half weeks that I'm bound to forget something, but if I do, I will just include it in the next episode, which hopefully will go back to being every week again. So thank you so much for coming back. I look forward to chatting with you again, showing off a little bit of knitting, and I really hope that you come participate in the Ravelry group. I'll post a thread for this episode with a little bit of information on my projects and the yarn I'm using, things like that. And I'm really, really hoping to get that compilation of videos together from my vacation, because I do think I took a little, some fun footage, and it'll just be fun to see it all put together. So keep your eye out for that. So I hope you all have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for joining me. Do whatever makes your heart happy, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Bye.